Okay, this is a video for the BLON 03, the Urban Fun YBF, and the Ibasso IT00. The Ibasso is the newest one, and a lot of people have asked me to compare. Starting in the bass, using Marvin Gaye's Sexual Healing, which made the Roland TR-808 famous, or vice versa. I guess it was the first, commercial hit that was using this Roland TR-808. And this is a picture of Kanye West, so this thing's been in the business for 30 or 40 years. It's been doing quite good. Listening to a track like Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing, there is a weight to the low frequency notes on the BLON 03 and the Urban Fun that's not quite the same on the IT00. I wrecked the IT00 because it's a good set and it's priced very well. Is it on the same level as the BLON 03? Let's start with the bass. No. The Urban Fun? No. If you got the beryllium set and enough hev because they're so stoked about it, I'm actually talking to you two groups. Your decision is, because in this economy and people trying to treat you like an ATM, there has to be kind of a little pause button here, so let me push it. Are you satisfied with your YBF? Are you satisfied with the BLON 03? Then you have no reason to move to the Ibasso. If you think that the Beeline bass is a little too much for you, then I would tell you to get the YBF, but unfortunately YBF has, they got different color boxes. People aren't sure which kind of driver's inside. That would be the automatic wreck for me, but because that's a gamble, that's something you have to think about yourself. And like I just said, in this economy, do you really want to gamble? But for this personal reviewer, in my opinion, and what I have in my possession, I would go to the YBF. But if you don't want to gamble, and I wouldn't either, the Ibasso IT00 is giving you a Beeline light type of experience. It's not offending. Why did Beeline become so famous? Because the bass is big, but for a lot of people and a lot of music, it wasn't a deal breaker. The mids are actually pretty decent. That wasn't a deal breaker. The treble, it gives a lot of detail, it balances out the bass, and it wasn't a deal breaker. So you've got the three major frequency areas, and when all of three of them are not particularly offensive or disqualifying for a large group of people, then a large group of people will purchase and will be happy, and then a 1 year long storm will take place. It can't be done by reviewers or anything else. It has to be done by owners and their feedback and their joy and the effuse praise that they put on, and they come back months later and say they still love it and ask, should I move on? And I gotta say, is there something you find lacking? The thing would be the fit, though mine fit great, or the bass is a little bit encroaching in the mids too much, but that lends it to its famous tonality. So would you get the Ibasso IT00? If you don't want to gamble on the YBF and you think that the BLON 03 has too much bass and you just can't get your mind around that and accept it and move and let your brain burn in, which is what everybody does, and you're saying it doesn't work for me, then the Ibasso IT00 would be option for you. Legit. It's not going to be the same musical with weight of note experience that the Beeline and YBF have, but the IT00 is quite good. Listening to Led Zeppelin when the levee breaks, the kick drum is authoritative on all three. On the YBF and the Beeline, it is fantastic. It is one of the moments that happens in a track that you don't pay attention to because it's right there and you feel like it's supposed to be there, like John Bonham is being focused on, and you're familiar that that's actually the way it's supposed to be played, so you don't notice that. When the bass is thumping, you're pleased because you're listening to a song, I guess, that you like and you've heard many times, and it sounds familiar to you in a pleasing way. The Ibasso IT00 does it. It doesn't quite do it in the same way as these other two sets do. Why is that? I can't say. I don't know. The mids, Fleetwood Mac, Go Your Own Way. This is interesting. I did a review for the IT00 and I thought that it was doing the male-female, two of each on Go Your Own Way by Fleetwood Mac good. Listening to all three of these, actually the mids on the Beeline and the YBF sound more accurate to me than on the Ibasso IT00. There's a thinness that reminds me of the Starfield if you understand what I'm talking about. I love the Moondrop. I just put it in a video as an option for like an alternate to the top 5 under 100 if you'd go $10 higher, because it's a fantastic set. But there is a thinness to it through the mids that I've been told by others, and I thought from the beginning. That's its relaxing replay. Like, that's something that people could listen to for a long time. And everything's got its. Like, that's what's special about it. The IT00 would be closer to the Starfield than it would be to the Beeline. So if you're a big Starfield fan, then that's good news for you. I would be more of a Beeline fan than a Starfield fan, but I like both of them. I would say the IT00 would be more similar to the Starfield. Let me emphasize that one more time. I think that the IT00 tonality is closer to the Starfield than it is to the Beeline. And that will let you make the choice which you like better, because there's a large group of fans on both sides of those. So that I'm very sure of. The Treble, More Than a Feeling, Fade to Black, Earth, Wind & Fire, September. The Beeline 03 and the YBF are a known quantity because they've been around for a while. The IT00 does the treble well, but I think that the sparkle that I can get from the YBF with the beryllium driver, because it's doing... The whole purpose of a beryllium driver, as it relates to audio, is that it's supposed to be stiffer and make low frequencies come through accurate, but the driver will recover faster so that it's able to replay the information that exists beyond the low frequency to your brain and your ear more accurately, because it's not suffering, it's not too slow to get back to do the notes and the mids. Remember, these drivers are doing a lot of work, and there's only one. Each one of these is a single dynamic driver. I think that the bass on the YBF would be the best, if you got lucky, and the Beeline would be second, and then the IT would be third in this group. In the mids, I would say that I couldn't discern that one is better, but being that the bass to mid transition would be better on the YBF, the mid should probably be better on the Urban Fun. Though that's pulling shit out of my ass, because I think that I enjoy both of them. People sometimes talk about mids being a little back. When the mids are just a little bit back, it puts more emphasis on the bass and the treble, and it gives a pseudo psychoacoustic illusion of being almost surrounded by music. It's true. There's sets that I'll bring up in future videos that give a demonstration of that. You look at the graph and you say, that bass is just a tad dipped. Yeah, well, listen to the music and see why that is. Like, did they fuck up with the tuning, or were they doing that on purpose? Some big companies with very expensive sets do that on purpose because they're going for that enveloped, swimming in the music type of sound. So the bass, or the mids on the Beeline and the YBF, I would take over the IT00, but the IT00 again is like the Starfield, and that would be a lot of people's preference. So the mids, I'll take the other two if you like the IT00, or if you like the Starfield, you'll like the IT00. On the treble, I'd give it to these two again. I just don't think the Ibasso IT00 is on the same level, but it's priced good and it sounds quite good, and I recommend it because there's some people that just can't help themselves and have to spend money within reason. Like, they can't buy $500 sets, but something under the $100 range. This would be a good investment. If you're just damn tired of the Beeline and the YBF and you want to get something else, it would be a good investment. People who say that it's a Beeline killer are using you as an ATM. There's been so many Beeline killers since last year, October, September, that it's the term Beeline killer is like a meme. It doesn't even have any value anymore. People keep bringing it up, but it doesn't change the fact that the stuff they said last November and December and January and February as Beeline killers, people aren't talking about them so much. They're still talking about the Beeline, and they're still talking about the YBF, but they're not talking about any number of sets that were said to be Beeline killers, or the new budget Kingpin, or whatever the clickbait title is. I have done clickbait titles, no shame on that, but you look back at that later and think, yeah, damn. So Ibasso IT00, good set, inoffensive on all three major portions of the frequency response. Mids very similar to the Starfield for the 10th time, but that is the definite thing I'm certain of. A slight thinness, but that's the appeal to it. Ibasso's for you. If you're a big fan of Beeline 03 and YBF and you think, should I move? do you think you need to move? Is your library being impeded? Is your joy being slightly sucked out because you've been compromising? I don't know why a $30 set you would have held on to for so many months if you didn't genuinely love it. And the YBF, if you got a good set, I wouldn't move unless you feel the need to spend money. And then the Ibasso IT00 would be good because it's not offensive, and the company is not like a fly-by-night company. If you have a problem with Ibasso, Paul will take care of it. So, and that, sadly, is a big deal. Like, it should be automatic that if you have an issue, a company will hook you up right away without question, but that doesn't happen all the time, and we know that. So, 3 very good sets, but I still would keep the YBF and the BLON 03 at the top of mine, using my library. Again, music is context, it's fucking everything. If somebody does a video review about a computer and they don't talk about benchmarks, they don't talk about their settings, or nobody, they'd be fucking laughed out. If somebody did a video about camera, I got the new Sony, and someone was talking about it and they didn't talk about the picture quality, they'd get laughed out. Talking about audio gear and not talking about music is to leave out the context. To say something's good at bass without talking about the bass is to insult the viewer. To talk about the mids without using an exact example, hopefully something people are familiar with, is a disservice to the people that view. People say, oh, your videos are scattershot. They're using fucking music, man. Let me tell you before we leave. Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing, Violent Femmes, Please Do Not Go, Tupac, Ambitions as a Rider, Led Zeppelin, When the Levee Breaks, Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams, Led Zeppelin, Dazed Confused, Dire Straits, Sultans of Swing, Fleetwood Mac, Go Your Own Way, Doobie Brothers, Taking It to the Streets, Black Sabbath, Sweet Leaf, Meatloaf, Paradise by the Dashboard Light, Jim Croce, Operator, Pink Floyd, Money, Boston, More Than a Feeling, Metallica, Fade to Black, ELO, Telephone Line, Pimp C, Coming Up, Earth, Wind and Fire, September, OCD Moments, Michael Jackson Beat, Blister in the Sun, Finger Snaps, Freebird, Crowd Noise, Gate Announcement, Pink Floyd, On the Run, D, Finger Slide from Randy Rhoads. That's what I listened to come to my conclusion that the BLON and the YBF are still top dogs. And IT00 is a very good alternative if you disagree with that assessment. And I'm out.